So I'd like to welcome to the Wayback Country Jamboree today a true leading lady of the Ottawa Valley. This lady was the leading lady behind the man who brought us such classic fiddle tunes as Maple Sugar and Mr. and Mrs. Maple. She is today, however, the widow of the king of the Ottawa Valley fiddlers, and that is none other than Ward Allen. Please welcome to the show today a dear lady and a true friend of ours, Miss Ann Allen.
Well, thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure to be talking to you finally, Miss Allen. It's been I've been trying to get a hold of you for a while, but thanks to Jimmy, I've got a hold of you now.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have.
Yes, well, it's a pleasure. So born in Kirkton, Ontario, near London in 1924, what would you say Ward's early life was like?
Well, first of all, he wasn't born near Kirkton.
No, okay.
No, he was born on his grandparents' farm, which they were living in Blanchard Township, which is near a little village called Woodham.
Okay.
There have been a lot of stories, and I think this is where it gets confusing. He was born on May 11th, 1922, on his grandparents' farm, and he was the youngest of 5 brothers.
Okay, yes.
And they all could play. One of them, Case, who was the second oldest, played piano just beautifully. And his mother could play the mouth organ. His father step danced. So they were a family that were very musical. He had aunts and uncles that were all musical.
Okay, sure.
And their entertainment, I can remember going up to the farm when I first met Ward and thinking, isn't this marvelous? I mean, they are their own entertainment.
Exactly. That's a lot of the way it was back then.
Yes, that's the way it was. Yes. And you had all your neighbors in, and everybody brought something to eat. The entertainment started.
Exactly.
And everybody could do something except me.
Oh, I see.
The only one that couldn't dance, I couldn't sing, I couldn't play anything, and I was just in awe of all of
it.
Anyway.
So, would you share with us how you met Ward Allen?
I met him at a dance in Miss Falls at the arena. Mm-hmm. He was playing with, I think they were with Wilf Carter.
Okay, yes.
And I knew his manager, who was Ken Reynolds, who started the Happy Wanderers.
Yes, Ken, yes.
He brought myself and his girlfriend, Eleanor, at the time, who was a close friend of mine. So he brought us up Miss Falls and introduced me to Ward, and that was in December, I think, 1955.
1955, okay, yes.
Yeah, and that's how we met, was at that dance, and by January we were engaged, and we were married the following August.
Oh, so it was fast-paced, yes?
It was fast, yes, it was.
Now, how is it that Ward and yourself found yourselves in the Ottawa Valley?
Well, my parents, I was born in Montreal, and my parents moved to Ottawa, I think I was 7. And, of course, back in those days, you always stayed with your parents until you got married. And so I, of course, followed them to Ottawa. Ward was on tour with Wilf Carter, and Ken talked him into coming to Ottawa to join the Happy Wanderers. And that's how he ended up in Ottawa.
Okay. And then when you got married, you were already in Ottawa, so as they say, the rest is history then.
That's right.
I see.
Yes.
Now, Ward began touring, as you say, with Wilf Carter. Do you have any fond memories of Wilf?
Yes, I do. I didn't get to know him that well because the only time we saw he and his wife, I think her name was Bobby, was when they were, of course, on tour. So they were always very busy, and Bobby, I think, drove the car that Wilf was in. And so really I only met him when they were touring through Ottawa.
So it was no private meetings or anything? No personal friendship then?
Yeah, there was with Ward. I think he was very fond of Wilf's 2 daughters.
I see,
And he was very enamored with them. They were lovely little girls.
Yes. And I understand they were just a tot at the time,
yeah, they were. They were very young. I think Carol was the youngest.
Yes.
And she would only be maybe 5, 6, 7. 57.
I see, yes.
And feel a little bit older.
I see. Now, Ward began recording in 1953 for Spartan Records. Do you have any recollections of this?
No, because I didn't know him in 53, and I think he recorded before that. He started out with, in the 40s, at CKNX Barn Den, and after the war, actually.
Okay.
And this produced several other artists. One of them was Tommy Hunter, and another was
Tommy,
So they all played together out of CKNX Wingham.
Okay.
And Ward started to record through Alvina, and it wasn't until he won the championship in Shelburne in 53 that he got the contract with Spartan.
Oh, okay, yes, okay.
So that's where that relationship started.
I see.
But I didn't know him then. I didn't know him till late 55.
I see, okay. So you would have been around when he composed Maple Sugar. How did that one get composed?
Well, that was just a little bit before me.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know exactly, but I know that it was released, I think it's the B side to a record, and on the A side was Back Up and Push.
Oh, okay, yes.
Back in those days, they denoted them as A side and B side.
Yes.
And the A side was the one that was expected to be more popular. It ended up being Maple Sugar.
Okay, yes.
Which was more popular. And I remember that was just after we were married in 56 that it started to become very popular.
Okay, and it's his signature song nowadays.
Oh, of course, yes, yes.
What has the song
anywhere
meant to you?
Go that fiddlers, don't know how to play it.
That's right, yes.
It's probably it's a very simple tune, but catchy.
Exactly, and it is Canada's signature song, just like Orange Blossom is for the U.S.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Now, I understand in 1958, Ward covered over 35,000 miles. Correct?
Yes,
What was it like to be married to a man who toured so much?
Well, I think that was one of the reasons when I went back to work, because it was lonesome.
Yes.
You had children, but you were at home by yourself all the time. And even when he was home, they were on the road, playing dances around the valley. They never got home till 1 or 2 in the morning, and then they were up. They went to bed, and of course then they were up and went to the radio show. Then they were gone again at supper time. So it was lonesome.
May I ask you something? How does a lady, or anybody for that matter, keep a marriage like that surviving?
I think you just did back then.
Yeah, back then it was the way it was.
That's right.
Yeah,
I mean, you just did. I mean, that was one of the things we did, and I know that I was close to both Joe Brown's wife, Flora, at the time, and Marie King, and they were great company.
I see.
I didn't drive at the time. They both did, and so we spent a fair amount of time together.
Okay. So it was, you always had your support group then?
Oh, yes, of course. And my parents. My parents were terrific.
Yes. Now, I understand also in 58 that Ward joined the legendary Ottawa Valley Happy Wanderers.
Yes.
Yes, and it was through Ken Reynolds.
Yes.
But what is your recollections of his first joining them?
Well, he first joined them in 55.
Oh, 55,
It was the end of 55.
Okay.
And my recollections are, they were busy, very busy. Realized how popular they were. And this day I'm astounded how people remember him throughout the valley.
Okay.
But I don't know. I just, they were busy all the time, and you just felt that was the way it was. I don't know. You didn't equate it with fame or anything like that, or the way they played. They were just very popular.
I see, okay. And do you have any of your personal favorite stories that you can tell of Ward?
Time has dimmed.
Yes.
It's over 55 years. It'll soon be 56.
Yes.
So just how good-natured he was, how he loved children. He was a very quiet person.
Yes.
And I think sometimes his music allowed him to be someone he really wasn't.
Exactly.
In other words, he was very quiet and drawn.
And reserved.
Reserved, but very good with children.
And then another one of Ward's classics, I think it was his, was Mr. and Mrs. Maple.
That's right.
Yes. Do you have any recollections how that one came about?
I just remember him, and my sister was living with us at the time. He was constantly in the basement walking back and forth and playing these tunes, and so it was, I think the one I remember the most is Hunter's March.
Hunter's March, yes.
He was constantly marching back and forth and playing it, and that's how he came up with the name, you know.
Okay, yes. And that's a classic as well, yes.
Yeah.
Now, if I may pull on the heartstrings, I know it's been 56 years, and maybe it's not as fresh in your mind, but how did he pass away?
He died of a massive heart attack, and actually I woke up in the morning and found him in the bathroom.
Okay.
And my sister was living with us at the time, and Jimmy, my nephew.
Yes, Jimmy, yes. He had recollections of that day, yes.
Yeah. And so I called for both of them. I just thought he was being sick.
Okay.
And anyway, it was my sister that apparently she put her hand on him and said, no, I think he's gone.
I see.
And then they called the police, I think. I don't know. I was kind of out of it. Yeah, it affects you.
In grief.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I can remember Jimmy and I sitting on the Chesterfield and shivering, you know, all day, and the police being there.
I see.
And, you couldn't believe it. And you know, as I guess it would be, I don't know, karma. My mother and dad had been down the night before for dinner, and Ward was feeling well.
Okay.
And they took the children back because he was to go up home, give his niece away at her wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And so Mother took the two boys up to her place, so there were no children.
Okay.
Which was good.
It was good, yes. It was. It wouldn't have been good for them to see that,
No.
Now, in coming years, how would you like to see the Ward Allen and the Allen name remembered?
Well, you know, I've been so affected by all the fiddle contests and so on that I've been to over the last number of years, and how many people in the valley remember Ward, remember his music, just remember him as a good old-time fiddler who wrote some excellent tunes, and probably his signature maple sugar.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show today, Miss Allen, and it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I want to thank you for a wonderful conversation, and I'll get a copy of this up in the mail for you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Johnny.
Yes, God bless you. Stay safe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.